English. As usual, let us start with the snippets. The very first one, landmark victory. There's an important word here, landmark. The next one also important, women to lead Amma for the next 3 years. It talks about some organization called Amma. Amma, either way it is Amma, that is known as palindrome. Have you heard of the word palindrome? Palindrome means what? From this side or that side, the word is the same. Then we call it palindrome. Amma from this side same, this side also same. And that word is known as a palindrome. Have you heard of this any time? Coming to the first one, landmark victory. Victory is a simple word. Victory means a triumph, success. But landmark has two different meanings. One meaning of landmark, in this context, a significant or important. Landmark victory. Another meaning, landmark, when you're trying to locate a particular address, you ask for landmarks. Means what? You ask for important buildings nearby. Otherwise, nothing to, they're going to continue for 3 years. Based on that, women to lead Amma for the next 3 years. To find out what the acronym, Amma is an acronym, Amma is a palindrome. To find out what exactly the words stand for, you have to read the article, then you get an idea. Coming to the next one, CSDS opinion poll. Large number of voters could be excluded by SIR exercise. This has been in the limelight for so many days, weeks rather. Include, opposite, exclude. When you see the word number, number means what? Why should you look at it as a smart learner? The number takes a singular verb, a number takes a plural verb. That you have to recollect. Opinion poll. Opinion poll, when they don't want to have a discussion, they go for an opinion poll. And based on the majority, they take the final call. It is about someone conducted a survey or opinion poll, CSDS, and what is the result of that opinion poll? According to that opinion poll, large number of voters could be excluded by SIR exercise. Here, could be excluded. We have this exclude, already have told you guys, but could. Could as a helping verb has four functions, and the most important one is it is used to make a request, polite and formal. Could you please repeat? Could you repeat, sir? And here in this context, the function, possibility, but the chances are less. Chances are less, we say might, could, should. Coming to the next one, tragic loss. 10-year-old boy dies in blast due to gas leak. You all know the simple word tragic, sad. And loss, you have to recollect words like loss is a noun, profit and loss. And lose, LOSC, verb. Lose, lost, lost. And LOOSC, lose, loose shirt, tight shirt. All the three words you have to recollect. And here we have the word blast. And you know the typical combination, bomb blast. But sometimes it has another meaning. What is the other connotation? Someone shouts at me, scolds me, questions me. Then I say, I was blasted by him. Or I shout at someone, I blasted them, I blasted him. A different meaning altogether. Coming to the next one, Hill's agony. You have to know the range of words. First you'd say stone, bigger than a stone, pebble, bigger than a pebble, a rock, bigger than that, boulder, bigger than that, hill, bigger than that, mountain. Entire range you have to know. And here it talks about Hill's agony. Agony we have got many a time. Agony means what? Pain, acute pain, severe pain, anguish, mental agony. Physical anguish, physical agony. Means what? Severe pain. Hill's pain. Why does it say Hill's pain? The day a village in Uttarkashi disappeared. I did one editorial, if you remember, flash floods in Uttarkashi. Entire village got disappeared, wiped out. Based on that, the day a village in Uttarkashi disappeared, people grieve as floods sludge devour Dharali. Here we have grieve. You should recollect the word grief, grief stricken, grieve, sadness, and floods sludge. Sludge, the unwanted waste material. You have to recollect words like muck, rubbish, debris, all these words. And here, devour has two different meanings. One meaning of devour means to take something in large quantities. Some people have a lot of food. Then we say devour the entire food. And it also goes with information. Some people, when they read a book, they take a lot of information. Then also we say they have devoured the entire book. Different meaning altogether. Mourning, mourn, grief stricken. All these you have to recollect, and I have done one editorial based on that. Here we have reigning supreme, muck. I have already said that. Very good, Chandu. Muck, sludge, then you rubbish, all these. Coming to reigning supreme, a reign current regime means what? Government in power. A reign, a rule, and reigning supreme means ruling, being at the top. In this context, it means top player, being doing extremely well. Kamer remains unbeaten. This has been, we have got this many a time. This has been in the limelight, and this player, chess, he hasn't been defeated so far. Match after match, he has won. Based on that, reigning supreme, reigning champion also we use. Current champion. Coming to the main headline from today's Hindu paper, Prime Minister Modi makes strong pitch for self-reliance. You can see the Prime Minister's image pic. And on the eve of Independence Day, 79th Independence Day, he addressed the country, he addressed the people of the country. And regarding his speech, in essence, in a nutshell, PM Modi makes strong pitch for self-reliance. Strong pitch means to recommend strongly, and self-reliance, rely, depend on. Self-reliance means not depending on other countries and depending on indigenous products, indigenous services. Coming to the next snippet over here, 6 people killed as wall falls near Humayun's tomb. 6 people killed as wall falls near Humayun's tomb. Here, B is silent, tomb, not tomb. B is silent, not O sound, tomb. And it talks about rainy season, heavy rains, walls, they become damp. After some time, if it is an old wall, the wall collapses. Based on that, how many people got killed? 6 people. That's a big number. Coming to the next snippet, Israeli minister in face-off with Fatah detainee. Face-off, head-on collision, confrontation, argument, fight, face-off. We have got many a time. Coming to detainee, native, local, indigenous. Very good, Vishnu. Here we have one word. Detain is a verb form. Detention is a noun form. Detain someone, keep in police custody. Then we say he has been detained by the police. And detainee is a person again. Exactly. Coming to the pick over here, the most important. But before that, we have another snippet. Terrorist attacks must not dictate the future of Jammu and Kashmir. Terrorist attacks must not. Here we have the helping verb must. It has two functions. One function, it is used to express personal obligation. Obligation, spat also you have to recollect. Good Sangeeta. And here, personal obligation imposed by the speaker or the writer. And second function of must, to convey the idea something is compulsory. Must not dictate the future of Jammu and Kashmir. Here we have another snippet. SC's collegium cannot dictate to High Court, says Chief Justice of India. Collegium, group of legal experts, judges, and it belongs to legal field. a group of legal fraternity. Fraternity has two meanings. One meaning, brotherhood. In this context, when I say legal fraternity, means what? Those who work for that particular field. SC's collegium cannot impose, cannot dictate to High Court. Who says this? Chief Justice of India. Now, coming to the pick, you can see two powerful people, one Russian President Putin, the other one Donald Trump, the US President. They have met recently, strategic summit. I've told you guys many a time, strategy has two meanings. What is your strategy to get success? What is your plan? And strategic studies related to defense. And this is about a summit between those two. And it happened in Alaska, the 49th state of the USA. And the 50th state is Hawaii. Peace bid. Here, bid means attempt. Bidding usually goes with auction, but in this context, to try, attempt. And we have another pick over here, yet again, means one more time, yet again. Plastic treaty talks end in stalemate. Plastic treaty talks end in stalemate. Stalemate we have got many a time. Deadlock. And if it is a road, then we say cul-de-sac. All these words you have to recollect. I think we got this last week also. That's all from the front page of the editorial. Let us go to front page of the Hindu paper and let us go to the editorial analysis. And this is enrichment. And today's editorial is all about the Prime Minister's address yesterday. He addressed the country. It is regarding that, an important editorial. And we have got some important words as well. Let us see the very first word, apprehension. Apprehension, apprehend. Apprehend has two different meanings. One meaning to arrest someone. Apprehension means fear that something bad may happen. Part of speech noun meaning anxiety or fear about the future. Second meaning understanding or grasp of something. But generally we use it to convey the idea. Apprehension means what? Some fear something bad may happen. Word forms, apprehensions, plural. Word combinations, feel apprehension, express apprehension, growing apprehension. Growing apprehension, feel apprehension, typical combinations. Synonyms, anxiety, fear, worry, concern, trepidation, an important word you have to remember. Antonyms, confidence, assurance, calm, composure. Composed, you have to recollect words like poised, balanced, composed, down to earth, and stoic. All the words you have to recollect. Insight means deep understanding. Coming to the second word, dwell. Dwell we have got many a time. Part of speech, verb. Meaning to think, speak, or write at length about something. To reside or live in a place. Here it has two different meanings. Based on the first meaning, I usually tell, we say don't dwell on the past. And the other expression you have to recollect, don't brood over the past. And as a noun, we use dwellings. Some people think of the past all the time. Then we say, don't dwell on the past. Don't brood over the past. Two important expressions you have to remember. I have already taught many a time. Don't dwell on the past, don't brood over the past. And what are the other words when you think about something for a long time? One is contemplate, contemplation. And when you ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? Then it is known as introspection. Please listen to what I'm saying. Any question like that, ask at the fag end of the session. Otherwise, unnecessary deviation. Who is this Ashwini? I'm doing something, the flow is there. If you ask some question that does not go with this unnecessary deviation, for me, for others also, hold it, ask me at the fag end of the session. I will answer. And dwellings. Dwelling, don't brood means don't think in this context, don't think. And coming, it has other meanings as well. Coming to the word dwelling, the second meaning of dwell, place where you reside. Dwellings, those places, residential area. But in the Western countries, it has become outdated, still being used in our country. Dwell, here we have dwells, dwelled, dwelt. Either way, it is correct. It can be a regular verb, it can be an irregular verb. Dwelling, noun, verb. Dwell on the past, dwell upon the issues, dwell in a house. Synonyms: focus on, concentrate, linger on. Linger means to exist for a long time. Lingering thoughts means they exist for a long time. Antonyms: ignore, neglect, avoid. Substantive. I have given the word substantial many a time. If you read the Hindu paper for 3 4 months, you can see substantial improvement. Means considerable improvement, substantial amount, considerable amount. But what is the word form here? Substantive. Substantive, part of speech adjective, meaning real, important, or meaningful, having substance. Something is important, we say substantive. Word forms: substantively, substantiveness. Word combinations: substantive issues means important issues, discussion, reforms. Synonyms: significant, meaningful, essential, real. Antonyms: trivial. Trivial is an important word, I'm sure many of you know. What is the meaning of trivial? Trivial means silly, not important, insignificant, or superficial. Insurgency. Insurgency is an important word. Insurgency, it goes more with the polity, part of speech noun, meaning a rebellion or uprising against authority, especially a government. A lot of people revolt, then we have to use the word rebellion, revolt, mutiny, revolution, and also in this context, insurgency. Upheaval, also important word. Word forms: insurgencies, plural form, insurgent, adjective, noun. Word combinations: armed insurgency, Maoist insurgency, suppress an insurgency. Riots also you can say. But based on the context, we have to use appropriate word. That is very important. Mutiny goes more with soldiers. If you take 1857, the Sepoy Mutiny, considered the first war of independence. 1857, the Sepoy Mutiny goes with soldiers, and revolution goes more with people. Upheaval. Upheaval goes with people. It also goes with natural disasters, large scale devastation. We use upheaval. Synonyms: rebellion, revolt, uprising, mutiny, insurrection. All are important words. Antonyms: compliance, submission, obedience, pacification. Rev up. Have you heard of this any time? Rev up, it's a phrasal verb. We have got many a time step up. Same meaning, rev up, phrasal verb, meaning to increase activity, speed, or intensity, to stimulate growth or enthusiasm. In a way, you should think of the word boost. Word forms: revving up, revved up. Word combinations: rev up the economy, production, interest, enthusiasm. As I said, synonyms: boost, accelerate, stimulate, energize, intensify. Accelerate, we should think of the word expedite. Antonyms: slow down, depress, reduce, weaken. Simple words. That's all about a vocab from today's editorial. Now let us go to today's editorial. An important editorial. It goes with Independence Day speech, and some important words are there. Some important patterns are there. Sentence patterns, I mean. But before I go to the analysis, a word of caution. Whatever I'm going to do, based on the editorial, completely objective, nothing personal, nothing subjective. Always remember that I do it based on the editorial to improve your English proficiency. How does it start? Figure of speech. Figure of speech means a creative expression of language. You compare someone with some animal. He is like a lion. This is metaphor. He is a lion. You are comparing. He is like a lion. Simile. He is a lion. You are making the person a lion. You have to think of words like simile, metaphor, pun. All these go with figures of speech. Figure of speech on the Prime Minister's Independence Day address. You all know address has two meanings. Tell me your address, one meaning. Address the problem as a verb. Deal with the problem. What is the main idea? The Prime Minister held out, hold out, hold, held. Based on that, the Prime Minister held out what? Assurances, even while feeding apprehension. Entire editorial, when you read at the beginning, at the end, in between also, the editorial criticizes the Prime Minister, at the same time appreciates the Prime Minister. You see both the dimensions, appreciation, criticism, and analysis, obviously. On the one hand, it is positive. What is positive here? Assurances, even while feeding apprehension. That is negative. Feed, fed. Apprehension means some sort of fear, something bad may happen. When you read, you understand what is positive, what is negative. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 12th consecutive Independence Day address. He has been in power. This is the third time. Don't ask me questions which are not relevant here. Who is this? A regular student. Please listen to the analysis. Any question, ask at the fag end of the session. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 12th consecutive Independence Day address from the Red Fort was notable, not only for highlighting national security and self-reliance, but also for laying stress on a communally colored demographic threat to the country. Such a lengthy sentence. But in a nutshell, what does it say? On the one hand, Prime Minister talked about something positive. On the other hand, he talked about something negative. What is positive here? Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 12th consecutive Independence Day address. This is the third time at a stretch, 12th year, based on the 12th consecutive Independence Day address from where? From the Red Fort, was notable. Was notable means was worth noting. It is in past. And we have not only but also don't expect all the time. Based on the context, based on the pattern, sometimes we may not use but also. For highlighting national security and self-reliance, important, but also laying stress on a communally colored demographic threat to the country. That threat is the apprehension. That is a negative dimension. On the one hand, positive aspect is what? Focusing on highlighting national security and self-reliance. And negative side, projecting projecting what? Communally colored demographic threat to the country. Now the writer has to substantiate both the dimensions. While showering praise on the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, Mr. Modi repeated its refrain. Refrain means hold back something, it takes a proportion from. By saying that the seeds of a new crisis were being sown. Seeds of a new crisis were being sown. Here it is in past continuous passive voice. They are sowing the seeds. Seeds are being sown by them. Present continuous. They were sowing the seeds. Seeds were being sown by them. Past continuous passive voice. This is a negative shade. What is a negative shade? While showering praise on the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, Mr. Modi repeated its refrain by saying that seeds of a new crisis were being sown. Now, when you read, you understand what are those seeds of a new crisis. When you read, you understand. The launch of a high-powered demography mission to address what he described as a deliberate conspiracy to alter the demography of the country is little more than a thinly disguised effort to polarize the country on religious lines by pointing to the different rates of growth in population among different communities and to the infiltration of undocumented migrants from the neighboring countries. This is the sentence of the day. Oh, what is the reason? Such a lengthy sentence. It is like a paragraph. In the exam, you may get a sentence like this, and you have to read once, twice to understand. The launch of something, launch of what? High powered demography mission. When you see the word mission, you have to recollect. Mission aborted means what? Stopped midway. And some mission has been launched. Why? High powered demography mission. What is the objective to deal with, to address what he described? A deliberate conspiracy. It seems there's some conspiracy, and based on that conspiracy, high-powered demographic mission has been launched. And what is that conspiracy? Conspiracy to alter the demography of country. First, you have to know the meaning of the word demography. Demography means population, and here it talks about there's some sort of conspiracy, a plan to destabilize something, demography of the country. What does it mean actually? If you take India, majority Hindus, minorities we have many. Now he says this particular balance, there's a conspiracy to tilt this balance in favor of some other community. To alter the demography of the country is little more than a thinly disguised effort. Little more than thinly disguised effort means covered effort to polarize the country, means to divide the country into two groups on the basis of community or religion, on religious lines, by pointing to the different rates of growth. Sentence talks about the statement given by the Prime Minister tries to polarize based on two factors. One, population, growth of population among certain communities, and second, infiltration from neighboring countries. By pointing to the different rates of growth in population among different communities and to the infiltration. Infiltration means to enter, use along the border, some people enter illegally. That is known as infiltration of undocumented migrants from neighboring countries. However, the speech also dwelt on this is something negative according to the editorial, not my opinion, editorial's opinion. Now he wants to present something positive, the writer. Based on that, the contrasting word, however. However, the speech also spent time on substantive issues, important issues, with a considerable focus on self-reliance in all fields, including the economy, defense and technology, and youth empowerment. This is a positive dimension. What is a positive dimension here? Dwelt on aspects like self-reliance, very important for any country, in all fields, including the economy, defense and technology, and youth empowerment. Today we have demographic dividend. Demographic dividend means what? India right now is a country with maximum number of youngsters. That is known as demographic dividend. But we have a problem. What is the problem? Many youngsters, unfortunately, don't have soft skills or job skills. That is a drawback. And keeping that in mind, he talked about youth empowerment. Mr. Modi also presented an account of the developments in India's national security and developmental landscape in the last year and previewed what to anticipate ahead. He talked about, naturally, on the eve of Independence Day, he has to talk about security, national security, and in the recent past, what the government has done, and also what the government is going to do, preview what to anticipate ahead, what to expect ahead. Mr. Modi lauded the armed forces for Operation Sindoor. You all know the word laud. Laud means what? Appreciate, praise. False praise, flattery. But here, laudable job, laudable work. We also use the expression commendable job, commendable work. Praiseworthy. Lauded the armed forces for Operation Sindoor, which he said showcased, means displayed the effectiveness of India's defense capabilities and indigenous weaponry. Indigenous, an important word. Very good. What is the meaning of indigenous? Local or native. And if you take indigenous people of Australia, we use the word aboriginals. and he should also recollect original inhabitants. He also used the occasion to warn India's adversaries. Warn India's adversaries. Adversary means opponent, rival, enemy, all the words you have to recollect. In this context, Pakistan, here mentioned, particularly Pakistan, underscoring, highlighting the policy of zero tolerance toward terrorism. What is the policy of India towards terrorism? Zero tolerance means we are not going to accept terrorism in any form for that matter, and cross border attacks. Recent successes in the combat fight war against the Maoist insurgency. This also, boomerang, very good, Vishnu. I have done a few editorials. Maoist insurgency, revolt, revolution, mutiny, all these, uprising. They could deal with that problem as well. Recent successes in the combat against the Maoist insurgency also found a mention. He mentioned that also in his speech. As in a plan announced by Mr. Modi, Mission Sudarshan Chakra. You all know Sudarshan Chakra, used by Lord Krishna, the ultimate weapon, the ultimate, nothing beyond that, Sudarshan Chakra. What is this Sudarshan Chakra in this context? A fully indigenous defense system. Indigenous means local, native, not taking outside help. Fully indigenous defense system will be developed. Here it is in future passive voice and deployed by 2035. That's an important project. The details were scarce. Scarcity means what? Shortage. He did not give full details. The details were scarce, but he described it as a powerful weapon system which will not only neutralize the enemy's attack, but will also hit back at the enemy many times more. There are two dimensions to this Sudarshan Chakra. One dimension, it will neutralize, make the enemy attack null and void in a way, though it's a legal term. It will also hit back at the enemy many times more. Speaking you all know, amidst, in the middle of. Speaking amid rapid changes in global power equations, Mr. Modi's Independence Day message was also aimed at the United States, which has announced the tariffs as high as 50% on many Indian products. This also I've done a few editorials. Trump has imposed initially 25, later 50%. So our Prime Minister has touched that point as well. While promising to focus on revving up, boost up the domestic economy, Mr. Modi showed an awareness of the challenges that the Indian economy is facing. Show awareness, be aware of. He knows the challenges being faced by Indian economy. He must have talked about that. Sentence says he wanted to rev up the domestic economy. At the same time, he knows the limits, he knows the challenges. He showed that awareness at the same time. The next generation GST reforms would be rolled out by Deepavali 2025. Roll out means what? To make public, to unveil, to disclose, to divulge, to reveal. But release in this context. Roll out, it goes more with policies. By Diwali 2025, which would reduce the tax burden on core goods and services and boost business. Obviously, reduce tax, business will definitely improve. On the one hand, now the last sentence, the same thing, positive at the same time, negative. On the one hand, Mr. Modi is trying to cultivate his ideological ecosystem. On the one hand, on the other hand, you have to remember these phrases. On the one hand, the Prime Minister is trying to cultivate his ideological ecosystem, ideology, philosophy, doctrine, belief system, ideological ecosystem, while on the other, he is trying to tackle the material challenges facing the nation, more related to development. So there are two dimensions here. One related to ideological doctrine or ideological ecosystem, more about Hindutva, that's what the editorial means. The other one, material challenges, developmental challenges. And how does it end? The success of one however, can only come at the cost of the other. What do you understand from this? The success of one of the two, can come at the cost of the other. Means if one becomes successful, the other will not be. And the other becomes successful, this one will not be. It is like you have to accept either this one or that one. You cannot have both. It is something like Hobson's choice. It ends on that note. Now let us go to questions based on reading comprehension skill and listening skill. Try to answer this. What is a central theme? Theme based question. One student responds, then I'll give the answer. Either or. Neither nor. You have to recollect. Vishnu is the first one. 1B. The economic reforms announced by the Prime Minister, not about economic reforms, not about foreign policy, not about military advancements. A critique and analysis of Prime Minister Modi's Independence Day address. B is the answer. Tone based question. Which of the following best describes the tone of the editorial? A writer has analyzed, appreciated, at the same time criticized. Based on that, you have to decide. Nothing. There are phrases used to show the contrast. You should ask the question, so when do we use? We use when we talk about the contrast. On the one hand, he says he is interested in the subject. On the other hand, he doesn't do anything to learn the subject. That is contradictory. Neutral and factual, not correct. Laudatory, no. Partly, no. Critical yet analytical. Explicit means mentioned in the passage. According to the editorial, what new initiative was announced by the Prime Minister regarding demography, population? New initiative has been launched, a new mission has been launched. What is the name of it? Operation Sindoor? No. Sudarshan Chakra goes with defense. And next generation GST tax. So what is the answer? High powered demography mission. High powered demography mission. These are very important. They come under current affairs as well. Implicit means implied, indirect, not direct. What implicit message does the editorial suggest about the PM's speech regarding demography? Regarding demography, what does he say? According to the editorial, primarily focused on economic growth, could be used to polarize society along religious lines, mainly aimed at strengthening India's military, India's foreign policy not relevant. Question number 4, according to the editorial, it could be used to polarize society. Polarize means divide into two distinct groups along religious lines. That is the opinion of the editorial. A writer's view. Which of the following statements best reflects the writer's view? It is not purely ideological. It combines, the PM speech combines ideological messaging with practical economic and security concerns. There are two dimensions: ideological ecosystem, trying to build that. The other one, practical economic and security concerns, material challenges. B is the answer. That's all for today. You all know this week sessions haven't been regular because I'm not well, sore throat, cough, fever, everything. And now I'm almost fit. From Monday, we'll have the regular sessions, same pattern, the analysis, vocab, mini mocks, questions based on exam topics. Thanks for being with me till the fag end of the session. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. Sunday, no editorials, no editorial session. I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.